your New York Knicks.
This for my city, New York, New York City where it's gritty. Yeah. For my city, never pretty. New York City, sing it with me. Yeah. For my city, New York City where it's gritty. NYC, for my city, never pretty. Yeah. New York City, sing it with me. Now we got the Nets that move into town. New York and Brooklyn showdown, but NYC has always been a Knick town. Orange and blue, we rock the colors with pride. Let's take it back to Walt Clyde and Earl Pro going to work on you guys. The UN era was live. It started in '85. The Twin Towers would devour you guys. R.I.P. to Dave the Butcher. We can never overlook a Knick legend up in heaven, smiling down on our future. Bernard King, he was a scoring machine. He was a human wrecking ball, straight up destroying your team. There was no defense you could draw in the scheme. From post game to mid range, you had no chance. He would just shatter your dreams. Rod Strickland, Action Jackson, John Starks, he played with passion. Larry Johnson, Oak and Mason did a lot of party crashing. On any team who try to step to NY, and if you put the jersey on, you better rock it with pride. Yeah. What up, y'all? Stills the great, Tip of the Gambler.
What up,
Knick
world?
Talk Nation.
Yes.
Every Sunday, 2 p.m. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Your boys is back at it again. Tips.
What's up, man?
You know, I'm feeling good, man. You know what I mean? We on a nice little high here. You know what I mean? We back streaking again. I gotta get that drop. We're going streaking. You know what I'm saying? Word up, man. You know what I mean? We're gonna talk about the Knicks and their current win streak. You know what I'm saying? We won 3 straight, you know, sitting pretty on number 5, 2 games ahead of the Nets comfortably, you know what I'm saying? Where Brooklyn at? They in Phoenix and they in Dallas now. That was Brooklyn. That was the whole Nets team. But we ain't going to be petty today, you know what I'm saying? Word up, man. We got a lot to talk about, man. Shout out to Janice, man. Just got off Living Proof Radio, you know what I'm saying? In here, strutting, moving and shaking, getting a starch on, you know what I'm saying? But we ain't going to tell nobody what that is. Word up. But anyway, my man Tip is in the building, man. Tip, you know how we do it before we do every show, man. How was your week, champ? How was your weekend thus far?
My week was a little rocky in the beginning, but it worked out lovely. I enjoyed a couple of Knicks games, a couple of wins without Brunson until the last one.
Yeah.
You know.
We gonna talk about all that. You know what I'm saying?
But other than that, how was yours?
I mean, you know, man, like I said earlier, man, the week has been great. Like I told JLP Radio earlier, man, we got a nice little piece of change, a little 18% across the board for the next 3 years. And I also got a little $3 raise in retro because they owed me some money. So life has been good this week, even though the money all gone already. Peace out. The money already gone. You know what I'm saying? But
yes.
The fact that I got it is all that matters. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. We
shout out to Joe Stratford. I see you, bro.
Can't forget. Have a moment of rest in peace for Spencer. They used to play for the Knicks.
Yes, Felton Spencer. Rest in peace of Felton Spencer.
Yes.
Forgot all about that.
Yes,
man.
Yes, please.
He wasn't a Knick for long.
He wasn't a Knick for long.
He played for the Clippers. He played for the Knicks.
Yes, he did.
He definitely once a Knick, always a Knick.
Always a Knick. You know.
Heard up, man.
55, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, very young.
Yeah, very young. You know,
still young. You know what I'm saying? But let's get to it, man. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks coming off of beating one of the top NBA teams in the league last night, and I'm talking about the Denver Nuggets with MVP candidate Nikola Jokic. The Knicks won 116-110, and Jalen Brunson made his return.
Yes, he did.
Started off smoking like a gun in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning, and then things settled.
Settled in. Denver did what Denver do.
Yeah, they came back. Jokic is a problem. I don't care what nobody says. The man is definitely animal, workhorse, down low, whatever you want to call it.
Without jumping,
for real. His footwork is immaculate. You know what I'm saying? His all-around game is immaculate, but they still lost to the Knicks, and we got to give credit where it's due. You know what I mean? Shout out to Jalen Brunson coming back, refreshed, rejuvenated.
Led the team in scoring, too.
Led the team in scoring on his way back. He put in 24 points, you know what I mean? A 9 of 20 from the field. He shot a little bit. He shot a lot.
Shot a lot.
You know what I mean? Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett played their roles. R.J. Barrett was second leading scorer on the team with 21 points. You know what I mean? Julius Randle gave us 20 and 7 rebounds in his game. So, the Knicks played well. Tibbs played his normal rotation, 9-man rotation. Obi Toppin got 11 minutes. Josh Hart played 31 minutes. You know what I mean? Josh Hart off the bench gave us 13 points. You know what I mean? So what was your thoughts on the game, Tibbs? Like, what did the Knicks show you in that game that makes you confident that they'll be great when it comes to the postseason?
Well, by the one that that X factor is Josh Hart, number one.
I like him.
He's getting a lot of offensive and defensive rebounds. The offset a lot of those the scoring deficiencies that the Knicks don't come with in the second unit.
Yeah.
He helps out all across the board. He's kind of an X factor for them. As long as he can stay healthy, Knicks can go far in the playoffs. At least get to that deep into that second round.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Yeah,
realistically.
No second guessing.
No second guessing that. Randall's gonna do what Randall do. It depends on if you put some fire under RJ Barrett, what type of game he's gonna have that day. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to Brunson. Hopefully he's still healthy. He can play, do what he's been doing all season long, or the second half of the season long, I should say.
That's a fact. Man, shout out to my brother Syke on the check-in. Shout out to Joe Stratford on the check-in. We see you. For real. So, I guess just to reiterate what you're saying, the team is only going to go as far as RJ Barrett can take us, because at the end of the day, it's a given that with Brunson here now, I don't believe that Julius Randle is going to have the same struggles that he's had in years prior in the playoffs, because now he has somebody to take the pressure off of him. Before, teams were just gearing up to stop him.
Yeah.
Now they have to worry about stopping a scoring point guard who can facilitate for others in Jalen Brunson. And mind you, Jalen Brunson has proved that he can do it in big moments. A lot of people, fail to realize this guy is an NCAA champion. And to win in the NCAA, you have to have great guard playing. Shout out to my brother 3D, man. We was talking about the NCAA tournament the other day, and he shed some light on me. He was like, the teams that go far are the teams that have dominant backcourt play, and that is true. You know what I mean? When you look at all NCAA champions, outside of maybe that Syracuse team led by Carmelo Anthony, you still had Jerry McNamara that was lethal from downtown, that got things going while Carmelo Anthony was cooking all over the court. But Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart are champions, which means they're battle tested. Jalen Brunson has showed that he can pick up the slack in playoff time, the way that he did in Dallas when Luka went down. He single-handedly led the Mavericks past the Utah Jazz and the Phoenix Suns in that playoff series that they had when Luka went down with an injury. So Jalen Brunson has shown that he can take the pressure. Right now, if the Knicks were in the Western Conference, we'll be top 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the Eastern Conference, we're top 5. We're sitting at 5, right behind Cleveland. And it's looking like it's destined for a matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And this plays out into the NBA storylines because of the whole Donovan Mitchell trade that didn't happen.
Of course it do.
All the drama that leads up to it. And they're going to paint him into this big villain. I just hope that once and I say this, it's saying, and I don't like beating on a Donovan Mitchell drum, but I do believe that, I hope that, I should say, that he decides to opt out of his deal with Cleveland, because that wasn't the place that he wanted to be, and find his way somehow, some way to get here in New York if the Knicks still have space available. I don't know what's your thoughts on that, Tibbs. Or do we even need him anymore? Keep it a buck.
If you think about it, if he was on the team right now, whose minutes would he take?
Well, somebody won't be here. It'll probably be RJ Barrett won't be here.
Okay, so he's gonna take R.J. Barrett's minutes.
So you don't think that the Knicks should get rid of R.J. Barrett? This was the dilemma before with the trade. I mean, it wasn't just R.J. Barrett. Let's keep it in context. It was R.J. Barrett and other pieces.
Yeah, it was other pieces that didn't underachieve. They underachieved. I won't go to judgment, rush to judgment as far as R.J. Barrett right now. I want to see what he does through the rest of the season. And the start of the playoffs. Then I can say, well, it's time for RJ to go.
Facts.
You know, I'm gonna give him a little minute because the last 2 seasons, RJ Barrett always came alive towards the end of the season.
That's a fact. Shout out to Tips.
You know, so that being said, you know, I want to see if it goes into a third season that he comes alive, and if he do, he carries that momentum into the playoffs.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So I'm gonna hold my thoughts on that one.
Okay, so
what about yourself?
I mean, I agree with you. RJ definitely is a guy that has proven that he turns it on in the second half, and he too is another big game player because when he was in Duke, I believe they won a national championship when he was there. And him and Zion were he was the main catalyst of that Duke team. Even though Zion was the force behind everything, but RJ Barrett was the engine that made that car run. You know what I mean?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, and that's you can't discount that when it comes to players. Some players are just built for big moments, and I think that RJ is one of those guys that's built for the big moment. I'm not going to say he's a guy that can carry you night in and night out.
No.
But I think that just him wanting to come to New York showed a lot about his character and how he feels about the city. And that just tells you the type of heart that he has as well. So I'll take a guy like him any day of the week. You know what I'm saying?
And let's not forget, shout out to Tibbs for playing Deuce McBride the game before this last one and came off the bench and scored 18 points off the bench.
Yeah, shout out to Deuce. Yes, indeed. Let's talk a little bit about Deuce, man.
You know, being that Brunson didn't play that game, you know, Tibbs had to use his bench a little bit.
Yes.
And it just so happens McBride had a good game off the bench.
Yes.
You know, defensively as well as offensively.
Yes.
I forgot who they played the game before this one.
It was the Clippers.
It was the Clippers.
They beat the Clippers.
Yes. Gave him the business, you know.
Yes. And shout out to McBride, man. And shout out to Joe Stratford, man. He a little down on RJ. He said he ain't playing college ball anymore. This is the NBA.
True that.
It's for big ballers.
True that.
I get that. That's a fair enough assessment. But guys that's used to playing in big games normally don't fold up when those big games come. You know what I mean? I think I just got a feeling, and like you said, RJ gets better as the season goes along, and I feel that this time around it's going to be less pressure on him because of the guy that we mentioned earlier, and Jalen Brunson.
Yes.
But getting back to McBride, you know what I mean? You got to give McBride all the credit in the world for staying ready, staying a professional, because that's what they say. You got to always be ready when your number is called.
Always be ready.
And 9 times out of 10, he's ready when his number is called, and he played one of his best games of the season when he put in those 18 points when Jalen Brunson was down against Russell Westbrook-led backcourt of the LA Clippers with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George both playing. That was very impressive, man. You can't take that away from
not
McBride.
at all.
And he's looking like the player that I thought he would be from West Virginia when the Knicks drafted him. And I was saying that this kid is a sleeper. He plays hard, and he played under Bob Huggins. And if you know who Huggins is, you know that he gets some tough-nosed players, man. You know what I'm saying? He came from Marquette, where he had Dwayne Wade. Now he's in West Virginia, and he's doing great things. I don't know what they did this year, but he was at Cincinnati. Excuse me, Cincinnati Bearcats coach, not Marquette. You know what I mean? But McBride definitely stepped up, man, and I appreciated it. I love the fact that the young guys are panning out because it's been so long. Well, we used to always put our hopes, and I had to laugh before I say it. We put our hopes and prayers into guys like Landry Fields. I remember guys saying, "Oh, I'm absolutely not trading Landry Fields to Toronto for Kyle Lowry." How did that work out? How did that work out? So we finally have some young ball players that actually hold some value. Everybody can't get no player time. So if it came down to it in the offseason and we had to make a tough decision on bringing in a star player and we had to part ways with one or two of our young guards that's budding as stars, we can do it and not have to worry about how the production will come from the bench if we had to let one of those guys go. Shout out to Jay Boogie. I see you, bro. For real. Word, man. But one thing I wanted to talk about, and this is another guy that's going to be a huge piece in
shout outs to Charlie Ward.
Yeah, Charlie Ward was at the game.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
He hasn't been at the Garden for quite some time. It's been a minute. I was surprised to see him at the game yesterday. And Kenny Anderson.
Yes, indeed. And shout out to Jay Boogie. I'm going to check it out. You got to give me the heads up, bro. I definitely will check it out. And like I said, I'm going to play it on the station. Definitely, man. If I would have had it today, I would have definitely played it today, but I'm going to definitely check out that.
Yeah, shout out to Jay Boogie.
Yeah, shout out to Jay Boogie, man. Big Nick fan, man. And that's a dope video you got too, man. That Christmas anthem was real dope, man. Salute to you and salute to the guys. Word up, man. For real. So, like you said, Charlie Ward, man. Charlie Ward showed up, man. He was one of the last Knicks point guards that was a tough-nosed player that people gave a hard time.
Heisman Trophy winner. Let's not forget that.
Football player came to the Knicks and held it down with Chris Childs for many years, man. And if you can remember, he was the one that got flipped upside down in Miami. Get that brawl against.
And then that brawl, right?
You know what I'm
saying?
Man,
the coach was Van Gundy was holding on to the leg.
Yeah, man, it was hilarious, man. But getting back to the Knicks, man. Before you spoke about Charlie Ward, I was going to talk about another piece that we have to make sure is functioning properly. And early in the week, Mitchell Robinson made some damning comments on Twitter talking about he not just out there running up and down for cardio. He want to touch the ball a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Now, before I get into what his apology, what do you think about Mitchell Robinson saying that,
First of all, you go out there and you have a job to do. Your job is to go out here and hold the paint down.
Yes.
Either block shots or grab rebounds. Every so often you do score. I'll give you that. You may score maybe 10, maybe 12, maybe 15 points.
Yeah.
But we know you're not guaranteed 20. So that being said, everybody has a job on the Knicks. And his job is to grab rebounds and
protect the paint
and put some putbacks in.
Yeah.
He keep it a buck. Every now and again, you may get 5-6 alley-oops in the game.
Yeah.
That's his points. That's where his points come from.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I understand maybe he talking about he might want to become more of a scorer. There's not enough touches on the court for that.
Yeah, it's not enough basketballs for sure. And I kind of understand where he's coming from because sometimes you don't want to just be that guy that they depend on to block shots and just grab rebounds and run up and down and do all the dirty work while everybody else is being celebrated for getting buckets. Because we know how you get paid in this league is by putting up numbers. And he wants to be one of those guys that gets paid for putting up numbers. But unfortunately, that's not his skill set. That's not what his game is predicated on. I don't think that it's going to come. I don't think that he's capable of being at a level of Joel Embiid.
Okay, hold on. Let's take it back. Let's take it back to old championship team. You think Luke Longley would have told Michael Jordan he wanted more touches of the basketball?
Absolutely not.
He knew his job, though, right?
Absolutely.
He knew his job. And they won a championship because of that, right? Because of his job, right?
Yep.
So that being said, Mitchell Robinson just needs to take a seat back and just get the ball when he gets the ball and be happy. He leads, if I'm not mistaken, he's in the top 3 in blocks.
He's number 1 in field goal percentage.
Okay, as well as rebounds. What, he's in the top 5?
Absolutely.
He's at least in the top 5 of rebounds. So he's doing his job.
Yes.
Stat wise, you're doing your job.
Absolutely. And shout out to Joe Stratford. Yes, Charlie Ward was a superstar quarterback, and he did choose basketball over football.
Florida State.
Yes, and his personality was definitely had smart. Now, you need your point guard to be a cerebral guy, man. So Charlie Ward took the smarter route, chose the Knicks, had a long season with the Knicks, and even though he wasn't a Walt Clyde Frazier or Stephon Marbury, he's still a fan favorite. You know what I mean?
He did his job on the
He
Knicks.
definitely did his job.
He did his job. For the
That's a
years
whole
he was
fact.
with them, he did his job.
Yes, he did. He did his job. So speaking of Mitchell Robinson, let's look at yesterday's game per se. So Mitchell Robinson, he went 3 for 4 from the field, 75% clip. He grabbed 7 offensive rebounds, 2 defensive rebounds for 9 total rebounds. He had 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Hey, man, you can't complain when you're plus 11 on the floor, man. You're plus 11, man. That means the team is always winning when you're on the floor in the game. What are you complaining about? He had 8 points. Granted, it goes back to what you said, Tips. He's a guy that rolls to the basket, and guys find him for lobs. As a matter of fact, he had the game-winning lob to put the game away yesterday on a fast break. So you're part of a winning culture. I get it. Sometimes we wanna be
do extra.
You want to do extra. You want to be you want to be known for other things. But on this team, bro, you're known for rebounding and blocking shots and defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. You can't get mad. They paid you handsomely for that. He's a second round player.
Right.
And he got paid. He got a decent contract. And he said that.
And you took off a year.
And he took off a year. And he's always hurt.
Right.
So you can't get mad. But in his defense, he said that he had a lot going on. And I'm going to read off to what he said, right? He said, I got a baby on the way. I got family issues. I just got to figure out a way to get back under control. When my mind is free, I was good after I had 3 bad games. I just started thinking about all the stuff I had going on, and it kept me going. I'll figure it out, though. I'll be fine. My bad. Should have handled it differently and didn't want to be any bad blood. Just got to find myself. What'd you think about his comments, Tips? Because he's talking about he went on Twitter. He went to the worst place.
Well, first of all, everybody in life always going through something, good or bad.
That's a fact.
It's all about how you go by handling the situation that you're in.
That's a fact.
Some people have people to talk to, and some people deal with it talking to the bottle. We gonna keep it a buck.
Yes.
Some people do. So that being said, he makes enough money to have enough people who are positive around him.
Yeah.
So, he should be able to go and talk to besides family, since he said he had family problems as well.
Absolutely.
And if life is so overwhelming, because this is part of life. What he's going through is part of life.
Absolutely.
You're having a baby on the way. You got a little family issues. That's part of life. Being that you becoming a man.
Baby,
grow up, baby.
Man,
grow up. Man up, man. Man up. This is your job. I'm saying a job, but this is part of life. This is how your life is set. You set to have a baby. I'm happy for you. Enjoy the baby, bro. The family situation. Everybody go through some family. Everybody got a rotten apple in their family. So with that being said, you just deal with it as such.
That's a fact.
And
I stand corrected, man. It wasn't the Clippers game. It was the Portland Trailblazers game when Deuce McBride played a hell of a game.
Okay.
Brunson didn't show up. Excuse me on that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Word, man. And you're right, though, man. Everybody goes through things, man. It's all how we handle it. And it's all about the supporting cast and the people that you keep around you on how you deal with it and how you get through it. You know what I mean? So
look at John Moran. He got to go to church for it.
Man.
But that's something else. That's for another show.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show. But, that's what people have to do to try to better themselves in life.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So the Knicks' next game, man, is against the Timberwolves. And that's a winnable game because they have no Anthony Edwards. In total, we have
no Towns neither, if I'm not mistaken.
No Towns either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
2 weeks of games.
8,
that's it.
9, 10 games left in the season.
Right. 2 weeks.
So let's play, we play our little game, man. So, So right now we sit at 42 and 30, right?
Yep.
So let's run off these games, man. Do you think the Knicks have a chance to eclipse 50 wins this season, or get 50 wins this season? So let's.
I see about 46,
All right,
47.
so let's count them off then. So Timberwolves versus Knicks. Knicks at home.
That's a winnable game.
So that's 43. Knicks at Miami.
That's going to be a tricky game because Miami owes the Knicks what you call it, because of the last game.
So you saying that's an L? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'll get it. I have to let that one go.
So
I'll let that one go.
43 and 31.
Okay.
All right. Then we go to Orlando.
That's a winnable game.
And that's a back-to-back from Miami to Orlando.
That's a winnable game.
So that's 44 and 31. Then we got Houston at home.
Beat them.
45. Then we got Miami at home.
We should beat them.
46. Then we on the road against the Cavs.
This would be the start for the playoffs. We should beat them.
Boy.
We should beat them.
Woo, that's 47.
Because Quentin Grimes is Donovan Mitchell's kryptonite on the
Woo,
court. Man.
That's 47. That's 47.
That beats the 2 years ago record that they got into the playoffs as the 4th seed, if I'm not mistaken. You know?
Yeah. So that's 47.
Yes.
Now you got the Wizards at home.
Oh, come on.
That's 48. Then we on the road against a tough Pacers team.
I'll take that L. 48 and 32.
48 and 32.
Yes.
Then we on the road against the Pelicans.
We should beat them.
It's 49. And then we finish the last game of the season against the Pacers at home.
We should beat them.
So you saying we gonna get 50? We gonna finish 50 and 32 this year. If the Knicks finish 50 and 32, I'm gonna be ecstatic.
You gotta go.
But it's
you gotta go to the game too as well.
It's doable. It's doable. So 50 wins is not out of the question, man. 50 wins is not out of the question, and I'm looking forward to that. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. Now being that it looks like we have the playoffs locked in, like we're guaranteed to stay. Well, we're not guaranteed to stay at top seed. Let's look at the standings one more time, because right now we're a full game. Well, we're 2 games ahead of the Nets. We're 4 games ahead of the Heat. The Heat is in 7 right now. So, and we're definitely about 8 games ahead of the Hawks in order to fall out of the top 6 in the East. So right now the Knicks are pretty much a shoo-in for a top 6 seed in the East. When do you think that they should start resting their players, and do you think they should start resting their players going down the stretch?
I say after the next 5 to 6 games, they should start resting their players. When they solidify their positioning in playoffs, then that's when they should start resting players.
Now, my opinion is I think that'll be taboo, because Julius Randle has been an Iron Man. He's one of the stars in the NBA for his team that never rests. He never takes any games off unless he's actually injured. And I think that right now the Knicks can't afford to rest anybody outside of Brunson, because he's proven that he's been hurt. And with that ankle injury, he's probably going to need more time to really heal up, because the playoffs is a different animal. And like I said earlier, like in college basketball and just in the NBA in general, man, you need great point guard play to be successful. So I don't think that the Knicks should rest anybody outside of Brunson. And I think that's that, man. The rest of the guys got to get in the game ready shape, man. Like, playoffs is a different animal. The game slows down a bit due to the referees, which I don't like, because it's like, why is it all of a sudden the playoffs change the whole way that the NBA game is played?
Of course,
referees got faster whistles. Like, you know what I mean? Guys getting in foul trouble.
You know it.
In the first 7 minutes, it's like, that wasn't like that during the regular season.
No, it
but
wasn't.
why is it like that during the playoffs? Makes you think that the games are
Rigged.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing I don't like about playoff basketball. But guys like Randall have to be very careful because guys are going to come after him to get him off of his game
Of course
in the
they are.
playoffs. And you got to remember, guys, the teams like Philadelphia, they added guys like PJ Tucker. Teams like Milwaukee, they added guys like Jay Crowder to be those agitators for the teams, opposing teams' best scorers. So Julius Randle has to be very, very careful heading into the playoffs because teams are
We
going to
can
be better for him.
easily get to the Eastern Conference Finals if we end up playing Cleveland to Boston. We have Boston's number this year.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly, brother. Let's get a round of applause for that. I agree with you.
If it goes down like that, we have a chance. We got a chance. We own Boston this year.
Yeah,
You know?
so the road to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Is realistically if it goes that way.
If we go through Cleveland and Boston.
If it goes through Cleveland and Boston.
And Boston has been slipping as of late.
Yes, they have.
Cleveland has been, staying above water.
Barely.
Philadelphia took it to another level with Embiid, the way that he's playing.
Yes, he has.
Milwaukee is just like, they're just lights out. And let's be honest, man. Outside of Giannis and Jrue Holiday, everybody else on Milwaukee just plays hard. I'm not Brook Lopez.
Threes in the corner, threes in the wing, threes
you know what
on top
I mean?
of the key.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it. It's just Giannis and Jrue Holiday. Even what's his name, man? He's been injured all season, man.
Middleton.
Yeah, Chris Middleton. He's a threat, but I don't think that he's the same this year. It's probably going to take him it's going to probably take him this full year to kind of get back to where he was before the injury. But that's the only team, truthfully, that I fear in the East. We've already proven that we can hang with teams in the West. I mean, the way Sacramento handled us, that's like a little concerning to me because
look at Sacramento. Look at Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacramento is actually a good team. But Sabonis was playing on another level, and he took it to Mitch that game, and he was using Mitch like a little rag doll in the paint. So those type of teams, I'm kind of nervous about. Everybody else has had. Boston doesn't have a real big man after whatchamacallit got injured. He hasn't been the same.
Williams.
After Williams got injured, he hasn't been the same. Eventually Al Horford, glass slippers are going to fall off. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can only carry them, but so far, Marcus Smart is the key on defense for those guys. And we beat them 3 times out the season. So I'm not really worried about them. And like you said, I think the road will be easier. We swept Cleveland as well.
Yes, we have.
We swept Cleveland as well. So it'll be a great treat.
How about that?
If we
Eastern Conference game in the Garden.
In the Garden.
Woo! How about that one?
We'll be the lowest
Get your popcorn ready.
So we'll be the lowest seed if we beat Cleveland. And I don't know if it'll work out us playing Boston after Cleveland because Boston is
it'll be Philly.
Third seed. Yeah. So it'll be Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, it'll be Philly.
It'll be Philly.
And I think that we have a chance to beat Philly because their bench is weak. They don't have a bench. Tobias Harris isn't really the third wheel that they need. It's more they're looking at Tyrese Maxey now as the guy.
Yeah, to score more.
Score more and be the third wheel on that team. I don't know what you think about that.
That team is shifted differently now. It's shifted totally different now. Mm-hmm. Embiid gonna do what Embiid do.
Yeah.
Harden gonna give you his little 20 points, fade away, fall back joint. So he's gonna give you that. Yeah. Maxey, they look for Maxey to be that scoring threat besides Embiid for them.
That's a fact. Shout out to Joe Stratford. He said that he'd rather go against Philly for that. And as it stands right now, Boston and Philly is separated by a half a game.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Philly has one less loss than Boston. And the Celtics have one more win than Philly. So right now, it's a half a game split into 2, and it can easily go back. It can go either way.
Down the line.
But down the line. But the way that things are trending, the Sixers have won 9 out of their last 10 games, while Boston has split 5 out of their last 10. So It's trending. The Knicks and the Cavs both trending in the same direction. Over the last 10 games, we're both 7-3. You know what I mean? They both streaking at the right time. So the Cavs feel that pressure and know that it would behoove them if they don't get home court advantage against the Knicks, because they already lost to us 3 times this year. And the only thing that's going to change in the playoffs is the way that the game is being called. Matchups are matchups. Players know other players, and guys' confidence level is going to be through the roof, knowing that they beat these guys 3 times. It's just like a street fight. You know, you whip the dude out on the street. Like, man, y'all whipped your ass before. I'll whip your ass again. Ain't nothing stopping that.
Ain't nothing stopping that. Nothing stopping it. Nothing.
For real. You know what I mean? So, man, I'm excited to see where things are going to go. But right now, the Knicks are comfortably sitting in the 5th position. The Nets, like I said, are like 3 games behind. The Heat are definitely about 7, 8 games behind, and the Knicks are looking real good. You know what I mean? Not worried about the Hawks, not worried about the Raptors, not worried about the Bulls. They're done. Lonzo Ball going out for another knee surgery. His career might be over. You know what I mean? And rumblings out of Chicago is that either DeRozan or Levine is out in the offseason anyway to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I heard that. I definitely heard that.
You know what I mean? And so shout out to Cedric Melbourne on the check-in, my guy. Word up. Let's go Knicks. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a pretty promising season, man. I'm happy. I'm definitely going to try to get to at least one more regular season game. I'm looking at the schedule to see which one I might want to go to. I think it might be that Pacers game, the last one of the season, because that might be for 50. And then after that, definitely trying to get my hands on some playoff tickets, Tips. You know what I'm saying?
You know it.
I ain't been to a playoff game yet. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind them Chase Barstools. For real. I don't need to be in the crowd all crunched up with a bunch of drunk Knicks fans.
No.
You know what I mean?
I'll be up top looking down at it.
Yeah, man. Definitely going to be up top looking down on them, man. But other than that, man, what you got to add? Tips, you got anything to add before we get out of here, man?
Hopefully these Knicks do what they do. They do their due diligence for the rest of this week. Being that the season is coming down to an end.
Uh-huh.
And they're stretching these games out to I guess 2.5 weeks till around Easter time or so, if I'm not mistaken. So get your popcorn ready and enjoy the rest of the season, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I guess for me, man, I'm just gonna keep my eye on how Tibbs really use these rotational guys, man, because last year, regardless of the fact, when Julius Randle was struggling against the Hawks, Obi Toppin played well. And he played well because he didn't need the ball to be effective. And I keep saying that when I talk about Obi, because you can't discount that, man. A guy that doesn't need the ball in his hand to be effective is very dangerous. That means that he moves without the ball, and he's dangerous for cutting to the basket, running fast breaks, creating his own opportunities for himself or for hustle plays. That's something to be counted for, man. And I think that Obi is going to have to be a big piece for the Knicks to be successful outside of Josh Hart. And I like Hart. I love the way that he goes. It's like he got this patented move, the way he drives to the basket. It's like he hitting the hole like a running back. And it's smooth. And he finishes. You know what I'm saying?
Every time.
And he finishes every time. He missed one the other day, but I see him do it enough to be like, yeah, nah. That's his go-to move. He's very confident. He's a great rebounder, and I think that he'll be a great addition for us and another guy that's been battle-tested, going into the playoffs to add some extra experience and make the load a little bit easier for some of the young guys who haven't really been there before. Quickly, this will be what? His second playoff appearance in 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
So the Knicks going to have some guys, man, that's going to be ready for the moment, man.
And still need to utilize the youth on the team as well, going into the rest of the season. Yeah. Just in case if somebody goes down or you might have to get into foul problems, you might have to go to the bench. Get the bench ready. Let them play a little bit more.
Yeah, McBride definitely needs to play more. And I won't be surprised if we see a Fournier and Derrick Rose sighting.
He could have easily played Fournier over McBride that last game.
Absolutely.
But he chose to play McBride instead, and McBride came with the 18 minutes. 18 points. Excuse me.
See, here's the thing, right? I think that depending on who we play in the playoffs, whether it be Milwaukee or Philadelphia, you're going to be forced to utilize a guy like a Fournier because he'll extend the court. You need shooters. You know what I mean? You need to get guys like Lopez and Embiid out of that middle, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got to have some shooters on that court. And I know that they haven't used them much, but playoffs is when you got to dig into your bag as a coach, man. And I just hope that Tibbs can dig into his bag and show the fan base that he's not just that coach that continues to get out-coached by other coaches that have less talent than he does, because it seems like the trend is that he can only do well with top flight talent. And, hopefully he can break that stigma come playoff time, because teams are going to gun for them and teams are going to take away our best players. I don't know if it's going to work so much for Brunson, but it's been proven to work for Julius Randle. And we seen that in L.A. when he lost his cool during that game. And he had a terrible game.
You're terrible.
You know what I mean? So we got to do better. We got to do better, man. We got to do better, man. But I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying?
But before we go, how you feel about Quentin Grimes' growth?
I love it. He's exactly what I envisioned him being coming out of Houston. A lot of people laugh when I say this, but he reminds me of a poor man's Allen Houston.
Oh,
his
really?
His form on his jump shot is great. Remember, Allen Houston wasn't that great of an athlete either.
No, he wasn't, but he was a hell of a shooter.
He was a hell of a shooter, and that's what Grimes reminded me of. Not just the fact that he light-skinned, and Grimes is just 1 inch taller than Houston, because Houston was 6'6", Grimes is 6'5". But similar body types, similar game, similar form on the jump shot. And I just think that if they drew more plays up for Grimes, and if he didn't expend so much energy on the defensive end, he would really be a problem. You know what I'm saying? For real. And shout out to my man Joe Stratford, man. He said that Grimes is playing like he belongs in NYC. Yes, he does, and this is why the Knicks did not want to give him up in any sort of Donovan Mitchell trade outside of R.J. Barrett. You have one more thing, Tips?
No, that was good. That was my question.
Okay. Well, like I said, man, every week, every Sunday, myself, Tip of the Gambler, man, we are Knicks Talk Nation Radio, man. Make sure you check in with us every Sunday heading into the playoffs. Hey, man, we might even do something live at the Garden one day. You know what I mean? To give the Knicks fans some little treat. You know what I mean?
Shout out to the Knicks fans.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the Knicks fans. Don't worry, man. You can catch every replay that we have on YouTube at Bars and Hoops TV. You know what I mean?
Thank you for listening.
Shout out to everybody that listen to us every week, man. Shout out to all the faithful listeners that check in with all the shows that we have on Bars and Hoops Radio. And until next week, we are signing off. Peace.
Peace.